Law of demand. So let's see what is law of demand. So the law of demand was introduced by Professor Alfred Marshall in his book Principle of Economics. So it was introduced by Alfred Marshall, and the book name is Principle of Economy, which was published in 1890. So whenever the question comes law of demand, it was introduced by Professor Alfred Marshall. So what it explains about? It explains about the functional relationship between price and quantity demanded. So it shows the relationship between the price and quantity demanded. Statement of law. What is statement of law? According to Professor Alfred Marshall, other things being equal, it can be the income, it can be change in taste, a taste preference, it can be equal. Higher the price of commodity, smaller is the quantity demanded. So when the price is increasing, the quantity demanded, the product which we are going to buy will be getting lower. The demand for the product will be decreasing, and lower the price of the commodity, larger is the quantity demanded. So when the price is decreasing, the demand for the product will be increasing. That is called a statement of law according to Alfred Marshall. In other words, other factors remaining constant, if the price of commodity rises, demand for it falls, and when price of commodity falls, demand for the commodity rises. So it's an inverse relationship between, and the price is increasing, demand will be reducing. So now the current example, when we go to the market to buy onion or tomato, so the price of tomato is increasing, the demand is decreasing, because everyone is thinking that if I buy 1 kg for 150 rupees, it's better than I will buy other vegetables and I will have my meal. So the demand for the tomato is decreasing. Thus, there is an inverse relationship between price and quantity demanded. So let's see the formula. The functional relationship between demand and price is expressed as, so dx equal to f bracket px. So what does it means? Where d stands for demand for commodity, demand for the product, x stands for commodity, f stands for function, px means price of the commodity. So D is for demand for commodity, X for commodity, function, price of commodity. So constant level of income. Constant level of income means the income should not change. It should be stable. It should remain constant. If the law of demand is to find true operate, then consumer income should remain constant. The income of the people should remain constant. If I am earning 1 lakh, the income should be 1 lakh for 2 3 years, or it should remain constant. There should be no decrease or no increase. It may increase. We are going to assume, if this happens, then what will happen? If in the monsoon season, if the snow is falling, we are going to assume, if the snow falls, then what happens? Okay, so if there is a rise in income, people may demand more at given price. If the income is increasing, now you are getting 1 lakh, now you are going to get 2 lakhs, so you can afford to buy the product at the given price. If now, if your income is 50,000 and you are not able to buy the tomato for 1 kg of tomato for 150 rupees, because you think it can, you are not affordable to buy that product, or the product price is very costly. But when your income is going to increase from 50,000 to 1 lakh, or 1 lakh to 2 lakh, so you can buy the tomato at 1 kg 150 rupees, you can afford to buy that product. Second is no change in size of population, means the population should remain constant. There should be, it means it's like that no birth, no death, then only the population remain constant. If it is assumed that the size of population remain unchanged, any change in the size and composition of population of a country affects the total demand for the product. If the birth rate is increasing or the death rate is increasing, the demand for the product will be decreasing or increasing. If certain person is like they are addicted too much to tomato or onion or to the vegetable, then the demand for that product may be increasing because of change in the population. The birth rate is increasing. If the death rate is decreasing, death rate is also increasing, then the demand for the product also decreasing. There will be no people to buy that product, or the people who are addicted to that product are no longer now, so the demand for that product will be decreasing. Third is price of substitute goods remain constant. It is assumed that the price of substitutes remain unchanged. For example, there is tea and coffee. If the price of the coffee is unchanged, means same. The price of coffee is 50 rupees or 100 rupees, and it is not changed. If there is any change, if it increase, any change in the price of the substitute will affect the demand for the commodity. The price of coffee powder is going to increase from 100 to 150, then the demand for that coffee powder will be decreasing and the demand for tea will be increasing, because people will tend to buy tea powder than to buy the coffee powder, because tea powder price is the same. The 100 rupees, it is now also 100 rupees, but there is an increase in the substitute, means the coffee powder, the price of coffee powder has been increased to 150 or 200. So people think that it's better I will drink tea from now to buy the coffee powder. It's very expensive to buy the coffee powder, I will tend to drink tea from now, that way. For this, price of complementary goods remain constant. It is assumed that the price of complementary goods, complementary means if I am going to buy bread, then I need something with that. So I will buy a jam or a ketchup or an egg, anything which I can eat with that. Without that, your stomach will not get full. So if I buy a car, I need petrol or diesel to run that car. If I buy a pen, I need ink in that. So that is the complementary good. It is assumed that the price of complementary goods remain unchanged. So the complementary good price should be remain unchanged, because a change in the price of one good will affect the demand for the other. If the price of bread increases, I will not buy the ketchup or jam, because I am not going to buy bread only because the price of the bread is increasing. I will go for Maggie or other things where I have to pay less. So if the price of bread increases, I will not buy bread. If I am not going to buy bread, I will not buy the ketchup also, or the jam also, or the egg also. So if the price of one product is increasing, it will affect the demand for other product also. If the price of the car is increasing or the price of the petrol is increasing, I will not tend to buy car, because if I buy the car, I have to uh, run the car, ride, go for a ride. So I need a drive the car. So for that I need petrol or diesel. If the price of the petrol or diesel is increasing, I will think that I will take public transport rather than going in my own car, because the price of the petrol is increasing. Fifth is no acceptation about the future changes in price. So you should accept that the price will be remaining constant. You should not think that there will be changes in price. It is assumed that consumer do not accept any further change in price in the near future. If consumer accept a rise in price in future, they may demand more in the present, even at existing high price. So if they think that the demand for the product, the price of the product is going to increase in the future, so the demand will be increasing in the present for that product. If the demand is increasing, the price will be also increasing in the present. They are assuming that in the future the price of the product is going to increase, thinking that they will buy and keep now. For example, if anyone comes and say now the onion price or which potato price is going to increase in the future, so people will be buying the tomato for the future they will be buying now and keep it in the fridge or and in their home. So the demand for the potato will be increasing, the price will also be increasing. Sixth is no change in taste, habits, preference, fashion. So they are assuming that if there is no change in taste, habits, preference, it is not possible, but we are going to assume. It is assumed that consumers' taste, habits, preference, fashion, etc. should remain unchanged. Any change in these factors will lead to change in demand. So we are not that consumer. If I'm addicted to Frankie, for 1 week or 2 week I can eat it. After that I will be like, no, now I have to try something new. It is not possible, but they are going to assume. For example, now I am addicted to chocolate. I consume more chocolate. I eat more chocolate. But after sometimes I think that no, I should try something spicy because now the craving for chocolate has gone. Now I will try something spicy. So my taste is going to change either in 1 week or 2 week or after a month. So it cannot be constant, but they are going to assume. If it is constant, the demand for the product will remain unchanged. If I am addicted to chocolate for more than 1 year, 2 year, my demand for the product will be increasing. If I am within 1 week I am fed up with eating the sweets or chocolates, then the demand for the product for the chocolate will be decreasing. Seventh, last point, no change in taxation policy. So, if the government is not going to change the tax rates, taxation policy of the government has great impact on demand for various goods and service. So, the if the tax on the goods which we are going to buy, if it is remain unchanged, and the service tax, goods tax, it's remain unchanged, then there will be no such impact. If the goods if the price if the product taxes on the product is going to increase, then the demand will be decreasing. If the tax on the product is decreasing, the demand will also be increasing according to the tax rates on the goods and service. It will be depend upon the consumer whether to buy the product or not buy the product according to their income. It is assumed that there is no change in the policy of taxation declared by the government. So they are going to assume if there is no change in population, no change in income, no change in taxation policy, they are going to assume if there is small change also, the demand for the product either increase or either decrease. According to that, the price will also increase or decrease. We are going to assume. So law of demand is introduced by Alfred Marshall in his book Principle of Economics. So according to him, he is going to assume if these things remain unchanged, then the demand also remain unchanged. If there is small change, the demand will also increase or decrease. Thank you.